is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. And today I wanted to do something a little bit different. We've still got a good few days until even the second round of Game Week 26 games are played. Then we've got the midweek game now for Man City West Ham that's been confirmed. That's staying in Game Week 26. Then we've got a bit of a wait till Game Week 27. So I thought I'd do something different before the normal content next week and go through kind of what's gone wrong this season for me. Obviously, as you all know, if you watch these videos regularly, my rank is pretty bad. And it's not to say that I can't improve it. But I wanted to talk about maybe some key decisions that have gone wrong this season so far, and kind of how I'm going to kind of try at least and play the rest of the season. I wrote an article about this on Fantasy Football Scout, and I thought I'd put it into video format. So let's jump into it. So just to reiterate from the intro, my season's not completely over yet. Yes, I've got a really poor rank. I don't know what it's going to be after the wildcard in Game Week 26. I'm going to have the bench boost in Game Week 27 as well. So there's nothing to say that I can't turn the season around somewhat, maybe finish in the top 100k potentially. I'm going to need a little bit of luck along the way, maybe make a few more correct decisions and that kind of thing. But it's not completely, this video is not completely right in this season off. And I'm not saying that it's not, some of it is bad luck, like Mane triple captain was bad luck. But there's a lot of decisions that I've made as well that I would say have been poor. I've kind of gone against how I would usually play the game and how, basically what my usual thought process is. And some people will say, well, because you make videos and, the community give you lots of opinions, and it's hard to stick to what you want to do. And vice versa, and that does happen, but I've been streaming for 3 years now, so I don't think that's necessarily a big issue. And I don't want to, this isn't like a hindsight video either. I'm not recording this to say, this is exactly what went wrong, this is exactly what my ranks are. It's just a few big decisions. So, first one is overthinking. Now, this goes back kind of right back until game week, 6 or 7. So my account was compromised, it was hacked, as a lot of you know. And again, I'm not using that as an excuse, but it was hacked, and I was forced to either use my free hit or my wildcard. If I hadn't done that, there would have been like 300 odd or 90 transfers, I think it was, locked in. And obviously that would have definitely been season over, although maybe I wouldn't have been in much of a worse position than I'm in now. So I was first forced to wildcard, and because I had to do that so early and it's kind of forced upon me, I didn't want to do it. I would have probably saved it for weeks and weeks to come. I started questioning kind of every little detail to the point of defence. Because John Lundstrom wasn't 4 million anymore, obviously a lot of us got him at 4 million at the start of the season. And bearing in mind that he scored 12 points in Game Week 6, and it was Game Week 7 that I had to wildcard for, that should have been enough to tell me that I had to keep him. But he was 4.4 million, so I started questioning whether, maybe there's another 4.5 million defender. If I looked at the defensive rotation, which is what I did, I had a spreadsheet of all things, and I went through the players that I was looking at, and how many I would need each week. So obviously I think it was one Liverpool defender plus a couple more, obviously plus 2 more, because I was playing 3-4-3 at the time, or 3-5-2. Either way, it was 3 at the back. I looked at the defensive rotation and when I would need to play which players, and Lundstrom had some, not so great fixtures coming up. So I thought I wouldn't get him. He's 4.4 million. Can he keep it up? Whereas now when I look back at it, and again, like I said, I'm not trying to make this like a hindsight video, but when you look back at it, you've got a 4 million defender, playing as a midfielder, genuine attacking threat. The team's keeping clean sheets as well. There was no reason not to get him at 4.4 million and just try and ride the wave. And if it didn't work out, it was only 4.4 million. I could have gone elsewhere. And in the past, there is no way I would. I don't even know now why I did that, why I didn't get him in. There's just no way I would turn that kind of FPL sit down. Like, one of the things we always look for as a big differential is a player playing out of position. Is a defender playing in midfield, on the wing or whatever it might be? Is there a midfielder playing as a striker? It doesn't always work out, but for some players it does. And this was a huge, issue or a huge potential, I should say, for Lundstrom playing in midfield. Listed as defender, but I completely ignored him. So that was definitely a case of overthinking, I think, there. And then ignoring form. So this was a bit more recent. Game Week 23, decided that Marcus Rashford, I wanted to get rid of him. I made that decision. I was going to take some money out of attack and go for a cheaper attack. And I was basically down between Neil Maupay at Brighton and Calvert-Lewin at Everton. Now, I'm quite a stats man, I would say. Obviously, I watch football, etc. I use the eye test, but underlying stats are decent, I think. It does, it doesn't always work out. A player can be taking lots of shots and they don't necessarily get the goals in the next few game weeks and vice versa. But a lot of the time, it's good to look at that, especially if you're looking at form and fixtures. And I looked at the form of these two and kind of the amount of shots they were taking and stuff like that. And in the previous 4 game weeks before Game Week 23, when I was looking to buy them, Maupay had 2 shots in the box. I even said this on videos, and I think I said it on a Breakfast Club or a Scoutcast, something like that, on Fantasy Football Scout. I can't remember exactly which video. And I said that he was bottom. I think I'm almost certain it was on a Breakfast Club, because I listed the forwards by shots in the box, and Neil Maupay was bottom, and I still brought him in. At the same time, Calvert-Lewin had 14 shots in the box. His expected goal involvement was higher. The amount of chances created were higher. And I am very much a fixtures man. I don't think I will change that going forward. I still think, we've got that decision now. Calvert-Lewin, he's still in really good form. His underlying stats are still really good. But would I bring him in now when he's got like 6 or 7 really tough fixtures against kind of top 6 sides? Probably not. If I had him, maybe I would keep him, but I don't think I would bring him in. Back then, it was different. I was looking too long term. So Calvert-Lewin's next 7 were West Ham, Newcastle, Watford and Palace, which was decent enough. Then Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, which is the run he's coming into now. So 4 good fixtures, 3 tougher ones. Maupay basically had 4 good fixtures as well: Villa, Bournemouth, West Ham, Watford. And then Sheffield United, Crystal Palace and Wolves, which now when I look at it, Sheffield United and Wolves is not that easy anyway. And sometimes I think, and maybe this is like a learning point instead, like still go for the fixtures, but if a player's got that much better form, that many better kind of underlying stats, and they've got 4 good fixtures to come, like the thing with players in FPL, you don't have to keep them for the whole season. We have transfers. Sometimes you've got to make maybe shorter term moves like that. And, if I'd bought Calvert-Lewin in the time, not only would I have more points, but I'd probably even be thinking of keeping him right now. I wouldn't maybe have the need to wildcard. Maupay was one of the reasons I did it in the end as well. And yeah, it was just, another bad decision but I look back at it now, at those stats, and I wonder how I ever picked Maupay. Maybe it was the fixtures. It was because early on in the season as well, he was posting good numbers, and I was hoping that the fixtures that were to come would help him with those numbers and eventually convert them to goals. And look, maybe I was a bit unlucky. He should have scored against Bournemouth. Villa and Bournemouth were conceding lots of shots at the time, and it just didn't come off. But now I look back at it, I don't know how I made that decision. So that was definitely ignoring form. And then short-term transfers. Twice at least, 3 times probably, I've done this year. The big one was getting rid of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, I think I also got a bit of tunnel vision as well. So back in game week 12, I made a pretty big move. I took Raheem Sterling out for a -8. For anyone that was watching the videos back then, you'd know that. And there wasn't really much confidence from other people in making that move. Most people were holding on to Sterling. It wasn't, now if you haven't got Sterling in your team, no one bats an eyelid. But back then it was a bit different. So I decided to get rid of him for an 8-point hit. And the idea was to spread the value around and get Jamie Vardy, who was in cracking form, and Jimenez, who was also in good form and had good fixtures to come as well. And that worked out. The hit got repaid that week. Jamie Vardy kept scoring. I had him captain. Jimenez kept delivering as well. And that worked really well. So game week 18 comes along. Trent Alexander-Arnold's got a blank game week. Then it was followed by Leicester, Wolves, Sheffield United, Spurs and Man United. Now that is a tough fixture run. So I don't think fixtures-wise I necessarily made the worst decision there. But I always knew I was going to want a Liverpool defender longer term. And I probably wasn't just going to go without for like 2 or 3 weeks and then still not want them for the next 4, 5, 6 fixtures. I was going to want them back. And so I made that move, and obviously it didn't work out. And again, there's a little bit of luck involved, or bad luck involved, because I bought in Aurier and Son. And again, look, no, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Aurier was a good pick. It didn't work out at all. I don't think Son was a bad pick necessarily, but he got sent off over the week I made the move, or the week after. So that's a bit of bad luck. But ultimately, I was always going to want that Liverpool defender back in, which I did 2 or 3 weeks later after that 24-point haul against Leicester. And look, that again is a bit of hindsight there, because nobody predicted 4 attacking returns against Leicester away from home. Absolutely no one. I didn't, no one. I wasn't concerned about not owning Trent for that game. I always knew that he could get something. He's so attacking on set pieces and everything. But I think 4 is a little outrageous, to be honest, even to this day. But so a bit of bad luck in that he scored so much, but not bad luck that he scored points in general, because he's just been that good all season. There was really no reason to take him out. And that was a short-term transfer because I knew I'd want him back in. And I did the same thing earlier on in the season when De Bruyne got injured. I already owned him. There wasn't really much talk of De Bruyne being out for more than a week. I had the bench as well. I don't think my bench necessarily scored highly, but your bench is there for a reason. It's not just to cover when you don't want him to. If a player's injured, you should bring your bench and use him when you can. So I didn't do that. I decided to get rid of him for Son. Again, a short-term move because I knew the form that De Bruyne had been in, I was going to want him back as soon as he wasn't injured. Son blanked. Again, whether or not that matters, it doesn't really matter. Whether or not it was a bad decision to bring Son in, probably not. But to take out De Bruyne for only 1 week was a poor decision. I had to put him back in. And although it didn't cost me too many points because I got him straight back in, obviously he continued his great run, so I didn't lose any points for that. It's a wasted transfer, and that down the line hurts as well. So definitely made too many kind of short-term transfers as well. And also, then there was Fernandes this week. Now, I know I'm not too bothered about that one necessarily for a hit because I'm a Man United fan. I thought I'd take the punt on him being differential, but ultimately that was too soon. And I know that by kind of being a Man United fan and stuff does hurt me at times. I don't think bringing in Maguire in the season was the worst move. Man United had a good underlying stats. I think they only conceded like one goal in most of those games as well, which is pretty frustrating. And the man has usually got goal threat, although in hindsight, Man United haven't really got someone up until now that can deliver the ball into the box onto Maguire's head very well. So maybe that was a bad move too. But Fernandes also another short-term transfer, knowing full well the fixtures weren't very good and it was a big risk. So we'll see whether he becomes an option going forward. But that was also a pretty bad move. And I don't think I've coped very well with with the bad decisions that I've made. And I don't know if I have a good way to articulate this to you. But basically, it feels like the more things go against me, and I'm not saying they're going against me as in I've had lots of bad luck, just my decisions are going against me because they're bad. I keep making worse decisions, so I'm almost trying to play catch up. I think that's affected me as well. I'm kind of like, whatever, I'll just do this because hopefully it works. I need to do something at this rank. Whereas if I go back and watch my kind of videos, especially at the start of the season, either this season or previous seasons, I always say you shouldn't react like that to a bad game week. Now, I've had lots of bad game weeks, which is one of the problems. But not playing your own game and kind of going against it just to see what will happen, which is kind of what happened with Fernandes, is probably not the best way to go about things. So I feel like I've kind of rectified that a bit with the wild card. Did I need to wild card so early? Potentially not, but it's almost like giving me a bit of relief that I've used it. I'm happy with my team again. That might change when Aguero and De Bruyne go nuts and I don't own them, but I feel like getting rid of De Bruyne this time around is not a short-term transfer. I'm happy to do it for a few weeks. I've got Son as a differential again, so hopefully it pays off this time. I've still stuck with a triple Liverpool. I've not tried anything too drastic there, but I've got Firmino in as a little bit of a differential there instead of the double defence. I've got my Wolves players set up for later on for their good fixture run as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. And it's got a few differentials in there. Egan, I dropped Lundstrom. Obviously that didn't necessarily work quite well, but hopefully it will longer term. So I feel like I've kind of learnt with the wildcard. I've planned for the fixtures ahead. I've not gone too nuts and like completely thrown it away, but also got a few differentials in there as well. And got back the men that are delivering, like Ings and Jimenez as well. Jimenez I didn't own before. So that's kind of my plan going forward. Like even if the next few game weeks are bad, I don't want to just throw in the towel and just start making decisions for the sake of it. I know there's like a lot of you who are going to watch this and say you've got to go absolutely differential because your rank's so bad. But I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that can almost be like self-destruction. I think that's kind of where I was headed. So yeah, that's it for this video. I know it was a bit different. I've basically just rambled for, I don't even know how long, 10 odd minutes probably. But hopefully you enjoyed it. That's kind of, a few key areas where I think I really failed this year or have so far. And obviously there's still a bit of time to turn it around. It's not completely over. Lots of double game weeks to plan for. The wildcard's in play, bench boost next week. So we'll see how the rank goes on. But I definitely think short-term transfers, I've got to rectify that, especially for like long-term players like De Bruyne and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Overthinking, like if you have an out-of-position player like Lundstrom playing for 4.4 million, playing in midfield, genuine goal threat, like why are you even second-guessing that? Just get them in. There's nothing more to do. And ignoring form, look, I'm definitely still going to be a fixtures man. I don't buy this. Even if a player's got awful fixtures, you should definitely bring them in. I'm just never going to be that kind of manager. That's not how I want to play. But I think if you're looking at two players where they've got really good or the similar fixtures for the next kind of 4, and one's in way better form than the other one, then it's really a no-brainer. But we'll see how that goes for the rest of the season. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like. Subscribe if you're new around here. And I will catch you for kind of normal-ish videos for FPL next week instead. See you later.